out of the Star Wars Squadrons gameplay preview, while also fawning over Clone Wars Anakin and his new stat bundle from Hot Toys. They'll also touch on a few new updates from Lucasfilm Publishing made at Comic-Con at home before getting into the juicier news and rumors from the past week. Those include Disney's delay of Star Wars projects due to the COVID plague, and rumors about a Crimson Dawn and a Lando series. Of course, they'll talk about Ray Park's IG thing and whatever the hell that was all about, before rounding out the show with the fan segment, including a new question of the week and the top 5+1 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Cue the music. Hey now, everybody! Welcome to a brand new and a special. And why is it special, you may be asking? Well, this show is always special when you've got me and you've got at that Nick C at the helm. But it's special because we're doing this week's edition of the Star Wars Time Show on a Monday. You might be asking, why has the world ended? Did Matt, did Nick, did the cats, did the dogs, did someone get COVID? No. The reason we're going on Monday is because yours truly, right here, is turning as old as The Empire Strikes Back tomorrow, our usual broadcast day. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be lazy, and we're going to do this on Monday. I'm going to take the day to myself. I'm going to sit here and enjoy my 40th during a pandemic where I can't really go out and do anything. By my lonesome. So no cast on Tuesday. We're doing it today. That's all that matters. We're here. We've got our hats on. We're ready to rock and roll. We've got Cryo. We've got Tones. We've got at work more or less himself in the chat right now, joining the live stream. So here we go, buddy. I mean, who knows how long we'll be doing this. It's raining here where I'm at. Camp Haywood is underwater already. Nick and I were kind of talking before the show. As I said, I turned 40 tomorrow. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, hey, celebrate me. Yay, it's my birthday. But it is 40. All right. That is that's a milestone birthday. I'll never forget my dad's 40th and thinking how old the motherfucker was when he turned 40. And here I am.
My dad, he also had like a fun 40th. Like I feel like the 40 is like the fun. You're an old fucker birthday, right? Now.
And for those of us, and again, I'm not sitting here bitching and moaning. I get it. It's not a huge sacrifice. Oh well, I don't get to celebrate my 40th in style because of the pandemic. This, that, and the other thing. But I was trying to change things up a bit this week to make. And here's the other thing. Having your 40th on a fucking Tuesday, all right?
Sucks,
another
man.
Strike against my 40th. So to change things up, doing the show on a Monday, hanging out with our buddies, the fandos, the assholes in the live stream, kind of, pump me up a little bit, make the week feel a bit different. But I set up the camp, I got a decent backyard, got the tent out there, but guess what? It's fucking storming today. So the tent's probably going to be destroyed. Everything I wheeled out there to celebrate tonight and tomorrow will probably be flooded, but that is my luck. That's how we do it here at the Star Wars Time Show. We never want things to go too smoothly, right?
That's right, man. If it went too smoothly, it wouldn't be the Star Wars Time Show. It would be some other,
That's right.
Well versed in practice.
We'd be like Kessel Run Transmissions, who are now the darlings of Reddit, and essentially anything they say now gets posted on Star Wars leaks as gospel. And yes, I'm a petty asshole. I hate that these guys are building their audience, getting bigger. They got that Bad Batch scoop, fortune teller style. Hey, they're gonna do a show about some clones, and it hit on that. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
we all can't be darlings of Star Wars fan podcasts.
We just need a source inside of Lucasfilm. We need the Lucasfilm janitor.
Or we just need bigger balls and get better at being fortune tellers. Because I still contend a lot of these people just, they shat in their hands and then they smack it on a wall, and some of the little pieces of fecal matter stick to where people will be like, oh yeah, they kind of said some of that.
I will say this. Once we get a little bit later in the show, I fortune told some of these rumors that just popped up. Like if you go back and you listen to one of our casts recently within the last 3 weeks,
then it's our fault. We're pussies. Okay. So like, we need to just start. I'll be your source. Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll be my source. So the next time I come up with an idea, just based on, kind of the tea leaves that are out there. I mean, a lot of these aren't too hard to guess. And I'll be like, sources say, my sources said, and we all will know, wink, wink, my source is Nick. And when he cites a source, it's me. Okay.
Sources close to Star Wars. That's all we have to say. All right. Sources with knowledge of Star Wars.
Well, there's Matt's little pity party opening for this week's show. It usually happens. I usually have to go into some sort of diatribe about how life isn't fair, how nobody likes us, and how every other Star Wars fan podcast seems to blow up and get their hosts recognized, except for the Star Wars Time show. But when your fan base votes on their name and still hates their name, it doesn't surprise me. You know what I mean?
Right. So, you motherfuckers picked this.
Nothing surprises me with the fandos, but that's why we love them. They're just as goofy and dumb as us. So,
I love
all right, man, we actually do have some topics to get into today. And I know for a fact, Nick, something juicy is going to drop probably later today or tomorrow, because that always happens. I mean, it never fails. The Star Wars Time show, if we go early, we're going to get kind of out-newsed by Star Wars itself, but it's to be expected.
Yep. But we still got some things.
Yeah, we got some stuff to get into. Up first, you know how we do it. We usually stick to the toys, the collectibles. That's our bread and butter if we do have some. And those of you that tuned into episode 120, you might be looking at this and going, hey, dummies, you already covered this one. And I would agree in certain terms. But this is the full Glamour shot reveal of the Clone Wars era Hot Toys live action style Anakin Skywalker figure. But the reason we're sharing it is because after the fact, we got word from Exclu Magazine and other toy people out there that Hot Toys was going to offer a special edition bundle that included this awesome looking General Anakin, but also with a STAP speeder, which is the Separatist battle droid kind of stand on speeder vehicle. Yeah. So that was kind of the big deal there. Plus, like I said, we got the full lineup of Glamour shots. Exclu Magazine has way more than we do. I'm lazy, but the figure again is looking fantastic. This bundle, I'm going to be honest with you, Nick, didn't really do much for me.
Okay.
These days, I don't know, the whole 1/6 scale vehicle scene just isn't quite up my alley yet, based specifically because of all the room it's going to take up.
Yeah.
And it was like an extra $100 plus to get this version than just the standard Anakin, which still comes with the special edition poncho. So do
you also get all of the additional items with it? So you get the hands and then the detonator and everything.
Right. Everything we're looking at here comes in both versions of this Hot Toys Anakin, except for the STAP speeder.
Gotcha.
That's the only difference. So, I showed a little bit of control, if you will, when it came to heading over to Sideshow and plunking down some cash on new Star Wars 1/6 scale, and just went with the Anakin figure.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. If you're not going to use the speeder, then there's no reason to have the speeder, right? Waste not, want not.
I mean, it'd be a nice display piece, but like I said, I mean, this is a Barbie-sized figure, so imagine how big the vehicle's going to be.
Yeah.
You're talking now, if you're buying one of the Deloitte shelves or the glass shelves, that's an entire section or row of that shelf now being taken up for one albeit sexy-looking figure, but one figure, so I passed.
I mean, we all know that the Star Wars Time HQ does not have unlimited space.
Oh no, you guys can kind of just see it in the stream. I mean, the walls are a shit show. They're already completely full of posters. I still have a blank for where Tross should go, but I just can't bring myself to buy the Tross movie poster for some reason.
You gotta do it, man.
Oh, I have to. I mean, I've got them all. I have all the other ones.
I mean, you have Attack of the Clones poster.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
You can't. Hey. You have two. You have all of the.
You watch your mouth. You watch your mouth with AOTC, son. I just watched that this weekend as we were talking before we went live, because there's just something about being outside under the stars with the big screen watching Star Wars movies. I mean, we've all have watched most of the Star Wars films more times than we'll ever remember. Most of us can recite them with our eyes closed as they're playing. But there's just something about watching Star Wars movies in the summer outside on a big screen. So this weekend, the little one, she's usually the director. She wanted, this is how she said it. I want the one where Anakin is lovey.
Is lovey.
Yeah.
Yep,
so
that's
I was like,
fucking AOTC.
I was like, all right, so you're talking clones? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I want the one where he's lovey or the one where he's on fire.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's Sith.
Yeah.
And then her other options went, I want the one where Luke is angry to Rey. All right. So
TLJ again.
Yeah,
she's a TLJ
that's what I mean.
lover.
It's but it's funny because she's getting older, so she's kind of grown out of like the moron brains. Because when kids are little, they could stare at paint dripping dry all day long, or watch the same blippy shit on YouTube over and over and over. So when she's been watching all these Star Wars movies, it's both basically just moving images that flow into her brain and then right out.
Yep.
She doesn't quite understand the relationships, the stories, this, that, and the other thing. But now that is starting to come into play. So when she's watching these movies, I can see her starting to kind of connect some dots. So, I mean, that's interesting to do as a dad, but
put things together.
It is funny how, she describes the movies. It's not titles, it's the themes. What's happening to Anakin or what happened to Luke, essentially?
Yeah. What is happening to these people? I mean, AOTC, there's not much to like in that
dude,
film,
I'm telling you right now, and yes, it is still the worst Star Wars movie, but it has grown on me, just like a lot of the prequels have over really this past year. I don't know if it's been the therapy, talking to you and talking to the fandos. We know the Clone Wars final season, at least me specifically, really helped to soothe the pain and the damage that was done to me with the prequels. But these days, maybe it's turning 40 and I'm losing some of my curmudgeonness about Star Wars and my hate. I just Clones to me is just, it's fun because of how silly some parts of it is, because of how poorly acted some parts are. But it also has some neat visual spectacles. I mean, when you're watching that movie and you're in the droid foundry and that's all green screen, I was sitting there going, at least like, man, that George was sitting there going, I can create entire worlds, factories, buildings on a fucking sheet, like in a set in my garage. And like, so it's like I'm almost watching them now as educational videos on the mind of George Lucas at the time.
Dude, that's the best way to take in that trilogy is like, look at it. You have to live in 2000.
They were full on tech
early
demos.
2000s again.
They're full on tech demos for him. I mean, you could tell it came at the expense of the scripts, at his directing of the cast. But what he was doing, and I mean, you look at that shit, dude. Phantom Menace came out in 1999. They were doing the computer work in the late 90s, and it still has some fantastic looking digital effects. Revolutionary for the time. Jar Jar fucking Binks was the first ever fully CG character.
I saw like a breakdown recently of the pod race, like from a visual effects perspective.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, even now people are like, the things that they were able to pull off in the 90s with this, like,
it's crazy.
Showing proper reflections off of with racing speeders, and then like this mirage effect that happens when you're in extreme heat, and then like the way that like there were a lot of things that they called out that were like, it's impressive that they were able to do that.
Was that when a quarter digital's VFX Reacts videos?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, I mean, those are fantastic. I mean, we've talked about them before. They did. That's where my stunt buddy was on and kind of got IG famous with a bunch of gay guys because they love the way he looks. But no, I'm being dead serious. Like, he did those videos with that, and I think his IG went from 3,000 to 25, 30,000.
Dude, there you go.
After a few videos.
That's the bump we need.
Yeah, no shit. But it ain't coming yet. I don't know, unless I guess we sit here with our schlongs hanging out and the right people see it. You never know. But excellent stuff. So I'm coming around on the prequels big time. They are fun to watch, but like I said, any Star Wars on a big screen is just it's choice. I love it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I really wish the weather would comply with me today so we could continue our Camp Haywood festivities, but probably not going to happen. So we'll all sit inside and get angry at each other and scream.
Yeah.
All right, man. So that was kind of our toy update for the week. We have a video game update, and I guess I can be petty about this too, but a bunch of influencers and gaming media last week got some hands-on access to Star Wars Squadrons.
Yep.
Our two dumbass lowlifes obviously did not. We do not nearly have the pool. We're not like Star Wars Explained. I mean, that guy, great channel. I mean, he I'm not going to sit there and shit talk him. I will shit talk some of the other people on Reddit, but that it is what it is. But even he's doing stuff with the KRT guys now, so we're like full-on losers. But anyways, a bunch of influencers, media, like I said, they got to play some Squadrons, which means we got some new gameplay footage, actual people playing gameplay, not just canned gameplay. We got some write-ups, some preview thoughts, and they were kind of eye-opening. I think at least what I gleaned from this round of previews, Nick, was that this game is not for the weak of mind. Yeah. It's not for the lone wolf. It is full-on strategy at the forefront, and yes, you got to work within your own ship's power systems, but also with your wingmen or women if you want any chance of success in this game.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference to me when you compare this game to, and granted, the other games, the older games had to be built around a single player experience, but like this is not going to be like Battlefront 2's, like old Battlefront 2 space simulator where it's just you flying around and you blow up the whole ship yourself and then you win, or, like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and stuff like that. Like this is a cooperative 5 versus 5, like a co-op competitive 5 versus 5 game where if you run off and try to do something on your own, you're going to die quickly. So this is one of those types of games where if you jump into a multiplayer game and you have a rogue player on your team, it could ruin your entire experience. And, if you've ever played a competitive shooter or a competitive MOBA, as a single player, just queuing up and getting randoms, then you know how much that can suck. Like if the team that you're playing against is highly coordinated or at least remotely coordinated, and your team is just full of a bunch of people who want to do whatever they want to do. We got
a good comment here in the live stream from Brando Calrissian. He says, yeah, I guess we're talking games. He's on the wrong game, but it is a poignant comment for the Star Wars Time Show base here. Finally finished Fallen Order, had to mat up the difficulty to just mash square and enjoy the story. I love it. That's why I love the live stream crew, because we get new sayings from them. I think mat up the difficulty is going to stick. That's going in there with words and shit. What was Nick's? What's your paint one?
Real ass paint.
Yeah, real ass paint. Galactic Republic, and now we got mat up the difficulty. So thank you, Brando. That was excellent. And yes, mat up the difficulty is the only way to play the older you get. I mean, I've got Ghost of Tsushima on fucking easy. I don't care. I love it. Stress-free gaming for life. But anyways, back to Squadrons and talking of matting up the difficulty.
There's no doing that with this game.
The general consensus, and you never know, because sometimes, I was in the gaming media. I'm a decent gamer at picking up a game, like a developer, hey, play my game. No introduction, no explanation. I could usually figure it out. There's some motherfuckers in gaming media, you wonder why they're in gaming media.
It's like, are you just doing this to get onto your next
Is this a stepping stone into something else in the media genre because you don't know how to hold a controller? But from the multiple previews I read, the general tone was this game's fucking hard. Mm-hmm. Not just if you don't teamwork, it's just a difficult game. The flying, the managing your systems, that, and the other thing.
With space simulators or space battle simulators, as this is considered, you always have that added dimension in there that you're not used to, of like controlling yourself in 3-dimensional space. Like usually if you're playing like a 5v5 competitive game of a similar style, like you don't have to worry about flying. Like that's not usually something that people have to deal with in video games often. So that throws it in there. But then also like with games like this, the difficulty of the game is highly dependent on the skill level of the people you are playing against. So like if you're playing, you're playing AI, you're playing against, or you're playing the single player mode, there is a set difficulty level to it. So it'll be as hard as the developers make it. But if you're playing the multiplayer 5v5, the difficulty can fluctuate wildly. And if you add on top of that the layers like you were talking about, Matt, of like the power management system, controlling everything properly, and then just flying, like, just flying your craft properly and not killing yourself by crashing into another ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Like, am I going to be flying like I'm drunk all the time? Because hopefully they give you the choice to mess with your controls. In a flying game, are you an inverted Y type of guy, like actual flight controls where up is down and down is up? Or do you just, hey, if I tilt up, I want my ship to go up. If I tilt down, I want my ship to go down?
Dude, it's been a long time since I played any game with like a flight mechanic to it on a controller, but I used to be inverted.
Okay, me too. For flying games, I would just accept it as is, but these days I've been so programmed where up is up and down is down that I don't know. I could see some kind of mush mash brain going here playing this, and you'll know when you're playing against Team Star Wars Time Show, because one guy will be flying erratically and crashing into buildings, and the other one will just be very peaceful and not shooting anything. Right?
Yeah,
and that'll be Nick. Like he'll just be sitting there, like just trying not to cause any chaos.
I'll be the support ship.
Yeah,
we're don't peace, everybody, please.
Here, you want some shields, bad guys?
I'll be hitting the peace treaty button on the controller to try to broker a deal between the two sides.
Yeah, it seems we struck a nerve with our gaming difficulty conversation, because we got a few more comments from the live stream. Rust Belt. He's claiming he's young in quotes, so I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's late 20s, early 30s, I guess.
That's what I am.
He also likes low difficulty, except Halo and Battlefront. And trust me, my friends, when I was in my 20s, I was what you'd call an achievement whore. You remember when achievements were just the first came a thing on the 360, and it was at the PS3 with the trophies? Yeah. That was life. I mean, I used to sit there and look for people and be like, hey, man, you want to go to multiplayer, and I'll come up and smack you 50 times, and then you smack me 50 times. But a lot of times to get full achieves, you would have to beat games on the hardest difficulty. Year in and year out, I looked forward to my Call of Duty veteran run. Because I thought it was a very challenging experience. I liked yelling at myself. I liked biting my arm. I liked chewing on my fingers. And I've talked about this before. I liked going through 360 controllers like they were free. $400 easy on 360 controllers.
I would play some games on hard difficulty. Like right now, I have Kingdom Hearts 3 and I haven't completed it yet, but I'm playing that on the Proud Mode difficulty, which is their hardest level. Like I didn't play Fallen Order through on the easiest. I played it through on Jedi Knight, which is like your middle difficulty, I guess, your normal difficulty. I don't have any plans of going back and playing it on Jedi Master, but I did feel like Jedi Knight in the beginning of the game, it was a fair difficulty. Like, there are points where you can get frustrated. But then, like, as the game went on, I was like, I could probably play this on a harder difficulty and then still, manage it. Because, like, with that game, it gets progressively easier as you play it, as you unlock.
It's a tight wire act sometimes with game difficulty. But I've just learned with my damaged mind and my ridiculous temper, it ain't worth it. I'd rather play on dummy than get angry at a game to the point to where it physically alters my body chemistry. Like sweats, screaming, heart rate, twitching, eye twitches, aneurysms, this, that, and the other thing. So I go easy. And if I start normal and I start getting pissed off, it's an immediate swap to change. I mean, The Last of Us 2, I tried going in. it's light mode. and I kept it was one of the stealth sections, and I kept getting tipped off. I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going the very light now. And it didn't really affect that game at all, because that game's a masterpiece. I mean, it's all about the story, and it's still kind of somewhat difficult even on very light. But I will admit, in Ghost of Tsushima, the easy may be slightly too easy to where you're not really maximizing your upgraded samurai powers, but fuck it, who cares? I literally love walking in, doing the standoff. Those that have played it, you know what I'm talking about, and just essentially Leroy Jenkins every encounter. Like, there's no fucking stealth with me. I just walk in and I literally go, hey, you want to fucking fight? They charge me. I go, whoosh, 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 3 dead right off the bat, because I got my standoff powers fully upgraded. And then from that point, it's a little bit of graceful button mashing, but I'm probably not going to ever die. So fuck it. Fuck it.
There you go.
All right. So yeah, I mean, Squadron's probably going to be tough. Definitely going to want to find a team. I'm thinking we need to get some sort of Star Wars time show squad going. As I say that, that'll probably mean that Nick and I will never play together or with any other Star Wars time show fans, because we like to just say shit and then never follow through. But with the crossplay, man, we should be able to get a Star Wars time show, a little guild going. So we'll see when it comes out in October.
Yeah, I think that it's doable. I think that there are enough people who pay attention and who might play video games that it could be possible to get some sort of, small squad up and going. I mean, depends on where they live in the world. They might not be online at the same time we are if you're in, Australia and we're in America here, but we'll see who can join up and who can play some games, and it should be a fun time. And I'm probably going to get it on PlayStation.
Same here. Just for the PSVR bump. I mean, that's the way to go. Yeah. So if you got the PlayStation 4 and a PSVR, you got to get it on that platform.
Matt's going to be like living in the actual cockpit with the VR system, and we're just going to be with our controllers. Like, yeah, Matt, we get it. You can fucking see everything.
Me and Tones. Headset. I know Tones has the VR too, so we'll be in there staring and jerking off at our virtual cockpits. Look at that dial, look at that switch. But
yeah, I mean,
Ray Park.
For the most part, the videos that are included in the StarWarsTime.net article are just some gameplay footage from either PC Gamer or some PC capture site. There's good stuff on there. And basically, my summation of the game is like, it seems really fun. It does, but I'm worried about the lifespan of it, considering you only have 2 modes in a limited single player. Yeah, and then there's going to be no content.
I can already tell you how it's going to go for me. I'll beat the campaign. I'll probably give an effort to trying to link up with Nick at least once in the multiplayer, and depending on how that goes, it'll probably be retired within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't imagine that this is going to be a long tail game unless I really, really enjoy the multiplayer. Yeah. Like I play it a couple of times and I'm like, holy shit, this is addictive. Then I'm probably not going to end up playing it too long. But that is why it's a $40 game.
Right. But it's fine. I mean, I'm all for it. But these days, we kind of talked last week. I'm just enamored by the PS4 right now and its closeout of first party exclusives. I mean, you want to play the best dummy game ever? Final Fantasy VII Remake has the best implementation of matting up the difficulty.
Yeah, mat mode.
The best. Check it out. All right, dude. So last week and over the weekend, the SDCC crowd, they tried their best. They gave it a decent effort to do the Comic-Con at home shit. Clearly, nothing like the real event. But as we teased last week, there were a few Star Wars related panels. There was an official Lucasfilm publishing panel, and you kind of recapped what these people had to say, or at least some of the reveals they dropped.
Yeah, so there were a ton of reveals. I mean, there's upwards of 11 to 12 different publishing projects that they talked about during this panel, but I just kind of picked out some of the ones that I thought were the most interesting and will align with what our viewers would like. So first one I picked up on was the Shadows of Vader's Castle comic
You're talking about our viewers? Well, then you should have put up Doomcock predicts the Star Wars universe, because I got a lot of people asking me, hey man, this Doomcock guy, what do you guys think? It's like, well, listen to episode whatever when we went into the big diatribe on Doomcock.
We listened to, because
Doomcock, George, according to Doomcock, as of last week, Kennedy's out, George is back.
George Lucas is coming back.
Done deal.
I heard about that George Lucas is retaking the throne at Lucasfilm.
Doomcock. All right.
Look, if that actually happens, then we'll use him as a real source of information from now on. But like, that shit's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'll use it to make fun of, but it's just, I mean, at this point, it's been Mike Zero level bullshit, so it's not even worth talking about.
It's fucking dumb as hell. So
we got Return of Shadows of Vader's Cat. Was that okay? Comics. I can get into Vader comics.
Yes, some more Vader's comics, and this is more. I guess like if you've played the Vader VR game, like Vader Immortal, where it is kind of like a haunted house style game, like you're working through Vader's castle and there's like all of these different creepy things, at least in the first episode. This is kind of what, Shadows of Vader's Castle seems like. So that's going to be back on store shelves if there are comic stores around you open, and digital platforms in October. This next one, the Star Wars Lightsaber Collection, is a pretty cool idea for a book. So it's gonna be a fully illustrated, highly detailed look at Star Wars lightsabers throughout the ages and give you a really detailed history.
I could get in. Is this going to be kind of Pablo Hidalgo cross section like, or no?
It seems like it's going to be more like heavily focused on like the visual aspect of it, and like giving you a bit of history behind the weapons and stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be more like an art of book, like an art of whatever,
That one, I can handle books like that, like picture stuff with very limited amounts of text. I can get down with that. So
yeah, so that one seems like it's going to be pretty easy.
I like this next. So I mean, this run's been on hiatus basically, right? The 2020 Vader run, but you're telling me, once it comes back, which I did get a notice from Comixology that over the next 10 days, some of these books may finally be releasing. And if that's the case, I'm definitely going to try to get back to my YouTube series of breaking down new canon added by these 2020 Star Wars comic book runs. But you're telling me that we're going to get some callbacks to, obviously, more callbacks to his Republic times.
Yeah, to his.
But there's going to be a tie-in to TROS?
Yes,
in the 2020 Vader.
Tie-in.
All right,
direct tie-in to TROS, which is going to be interesting to see, because like, what can you do here? Does Vader know about the Emperor's contingency plan on Exegol?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think about it. Because are you reading this one too, or just me on the Vader?
I'm reading it as well, so I'm caught up.
Because the general gist is, again, it picks up right when he's beating the shit out of his son and tells him, and as he's doing that, he's like, he's kind of a pussy. Who made my son a pussy? I'm going to go find it out and kill them. And that was the main mission. I mean, he went to Tatooine. He went back to Padme's apartment on Coruscant. And then he ended up in kind of like this weapons cache where he met Sabine, or not Sabe. Sabine, fucking idiot. and that's kind of where things left off after, the COVID fuck. So
yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this comes in.
Right.
Like, it's not a very clear
there's not a direct line from what Vader's currently doing, again, post ESB, pre ROTJ events, that there's no like narrative thread that kind of just makes sense for TROS. So I'm very interested to see what they do with that. Yeah,
in my opinion, it has to be something linked to the Emperor, because there's no other, like, there's nothing that he could look for, search, find out about Luke that would tie into TROS, unless it's
like you said, maybe he catches winds of Palpatine's Exegol plans and the cloning facilities, or this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, maybe he finds that wayfinder, like he walks into that room that Rey does in TROS where the wayfinder is, and he's like, or that's just, and he's like, well, what's this? Like he finds the Wayfinder.
I thought that was an interesting little note you had there. And then this last one, this is another one, a Clone Wars anthology. Is this going to be more of a book or graphic novel type?
It seems like a book. Okay. From what I can tell on the actual cover of it. It says it almost looks like you remember like the 40 stories, the 40 short stories things.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like that. So there's multiple writers, and it says stories of light and dark. So you have multiple writers who are writing stories about the Clone Wars era.
From Maul's perspective, then is that what I'm getting here?
It looks like it's not like some of the stories may be from Maul's perspective. And then some of them may be from, the clone's perspective and others like that. So it depends on who your writers are and what their chosen piece of the story that they want to tell.
If that's more graphic novel oriented, I could get into that one. I mean, we know here Maul is my number 2. I'll take anything I can get these days, Maul, including his penis.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But
the chat is fully fixated on Ray Park's dick at this point. So they've gone off the rails. They're having their own show right now. So
yeah, but
hey, Sir Dork. Yeah. Sorry, Tourette's.
So Rebecca Roanhorse, which is the writer of the Resistance Reborn book that happened between TLJ and Tross, definitely in this little blurb about the book, she writes about. In the anthology, the Clone Wars anthology book, she's definitely writing a piece about the first meeting between Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. She says, he's thinking of nothing but revenge on Obi-Wan Kenobi, as she wrote about Maul as we first meet him in the series, completely insane and walking around on spider legs cobbled together from garbage.
Yeah, so. I don't know, man. I could get into that again, but if it's real words and shit, it's hard for you to jump on that bandwagon. But those were the notable ones. Like I said, there's a ton on here, though. There's a Poe Dameron book called Free Fall, which is going to focus on him and probably his involvement with Zori and the spice running before. Oh, a little in out with the spice running, huh?
Exactly, yeah. So we have
now,
that.
I guess here's my question. Do you think they've humped before and he's just trying to re-hump in Tross? Because the way he's so casual about it, it is kind of like friends with benefits type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like they fucked
before.
They've definitely been in bed together.
Or at least have done some heavy petting with each other.
Romantic entanglements for sure. There's this book called Myths and Fables, which is an in-world myths and fables.
Oh, so like what they tell to their kids to scare them into doing the right shit? Okay.
Exactly. So that seems really cool. You got some Star Wars Adventures comics coming back. There's some kid stuff, in here as well with the new publishing initiative from the High Republic. So there's a lot of good things happening.
We got some insights into the High Republic, right? That's our next deal. We got I didn't read it too far, but is this the final round of High Republic Jedi, or is this just another batch?
I don't know. This is just another. Well, it's only one. Really, they only revealed one additional Jedi in this Star Wars Time article.
He's a Trandoshan, huh?
Yeah, he's a Trandoshan, which to my knowledge is the first Trandoshan Jedi that we've seen. Yeah. At least, I mean, I'd have to go back to Old Republic.
He's got such a Trandoshan name too, Skier.
Yes.
They got to have those double S's, right?
Bosk with the 2 S. Yeah. So I don't know if they just have like elongated sounds, like consonant sounds in their language, but
I think they do. I think you're right, man. I think they do kind of talk like Harry Potter, the snake language, almost
snake, like whatever it was.
Yeah,
parcel
tongue. Yeah.
Yeah. So they gave a little description of Skier, and if you look at him, I mean, he is a hulking Jedi master.
Oh yeah, Tones is saying he looks like Jedi Shrek.
He kind of does.
Or Jedu Shrek, according to the spelling error. Yeah, I mean he's a fucking tank looking Jedi, like a hoss. I mean, he's a hoss even for a Trandoshan. He could eat boss for lunch, in my opinion, in terms of just pure girth.
Yeah, the size of him is something to.
I love it. Like I love their belts. Like look how ornate their belts are.
Dude, they are. They're
look
like
at his saber is fucking killer looking. He's got like that fold over cross guard. It looks like to protect the knuckles.
Yep.
His golden brown accents.
If you look at it, if you like zoom in on that image, it might be a cross guard emitting saber like Kylo has, because it has the 2 ports on it.
Gotcha.
It
feels like these High Republic Jedi they're just so much more coordinated with their uniforms, right? I mean, his lightsaber, kind of blends in with his belt and his tunic. It all just kind of flows together. And I remember the other ones we looked at. I mean, as we said, they feel like true knights. Yes. They're not just kind of all cobbling together random robes and tunics. It does seem like there's some sort of a theme in their attire. And I don't know, I'm kind of digging it. I still wish we could see these people in moving images and not just words and shit, but hey. I don't know. It's between your synopsis of the great, whatever the fuck it is, the great disaster, the Firefly-like elements, I really think this could be quality reading. Doesn't fucking mean I'm going to read it, but I've been liking what I've been seeing or what they've been giving us from High Republic.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the direction that it's going in. And then in addition to the skier reveal, we also find out in this article from StarWars.com that the Santeca clan plays a really big part of this time, this High Republic era. So
he's essentially he comes from a long line of explorers, almost like people that go out and forge their way into new potential areas of wealth and whatnot in the new systems.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is how they describe the Santecas. Or Charles Soule described the Santecas in the High Republic era. He says, once just a family of hardscrabble hyperspace prospectors seeking valuable routes in the outer reaches of the galaxy. The Santeca clan has become a dynasty at the forefront of technology and techniques that let Chancellor Linda So's great galactic republic continue to expand safely to new areas. Overseen by scions Marlin and Velis Santeca, the clan operates in close conjunction with the Republic and becomes crucial to its response to the great disaster. But the Santecas have a secret. Their rise did not come without a cost.
That's another little interesting thing. I mean, we always love narrative and lore building here at the Star Wars Time Show. So just little knick-knacky shit like that, I think, is neat. I mean, that's providing one of those narrative threads we were struggling to find how the Vader comic could connect to TROS. Here we have hundreds of years in the past, and we're getting that thread to connect us to the age of Resistance. So that's kind of neat. I'm assuming this is an alt look for skier here. It's kind of like the second image there.
I like that one.
It's very Mandalorian Din Djarin color scheme early on, like even his gauntlets there colored like Din's pauldrons were.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the top image is probably like his casual, in Jedi chambers.
Yeah. Right.
Garb. And then the bottom one, you can see it's like,
that's for fighting.
It's more battle ready.
Right.
He's got like
it's like his
leathers on. And
his knight armor is equipped. So he is definitely an interesting looking Jedi. So I guess we'll have to see how he turns out.
He's going to be like the Mace Windu of the Jedi. So he's like more gruff, more opinionated.
So he's the asshole that's
asshole.
Probably going to fuck everything up. All right, good.
Yeah. But he is a Jedi master. So he will be on, if there is a Jedi Council, I don't know if there is a Jedi Council at this time. I assume there is, but he would be on the Jedi Council.
Gotcha.
So very cool. I like the design of this guy. And I really do like the way that this story, this whole new era is shaping up. I'm excited to read it in 2021 now. So
it's slightly grown on me. I still think I'll need Big Daddy Nick to read it to me if I'm going to get anywhere with it. So hopefully he does and gives me updates. But I think they're teasing an interesting world, if anything else.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Eventually, I want to see how this is going to, because I think the play is like you have this whole era that's telling its own stories, but there will be elements in here that will give context.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I think that Santeca note is that's a nice little nugget. All right, well, getting away from real stuff and into the rumors, or if you believe KRT, all this is legit because they know every fucking source in Lucasfilm land these days. I mean, according to some of the leaks, there's 9 new series in the works, but we're just going to focus on 2 that kind of got some action last week. One, really, both of them we would love to see, as I would think any Star Wars fan worth their salt would. But the one, obviously, I have the biggest boner for is the Crimson Dawn series, which, I mean, quite frankly, it's like, okay, is this the Solo stuff we've been hearing about? Is this or is it the Lando thing? Who knows? It would all kind of fit with some of the fortune teller style rumors, as Nick and I had described. A lot of people come out there and be like, hey, yeah, they're working on 9 new shows in this area, Cassian and this guy and that and this and that. And that's like, okay, all right. Oh, yeah, right. It all kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, you could do some Crimson Dawn. There's potential there. You could do some Lando. There's potential there. You could do some Solo. So, I mean, nothing's ever too concrete.
Yeah.
But again, as reported by Corey and Noah Outlaw of KRT, there could be a Crimson Dawn series coming down the pike. I would assume it would be Disney Plus. This other guy, Manabite Jeremy Conrad, I forget which Star Wars site he runs, obviously one that people care about because he's
this guy's got a huge following.
Yeah, he's blue check mark. So
he's got almost 100,000 followers on Twitter. So this guy, I think he's like the new Harry, what you call it? The guy from Ain't It Cool News, Harry Knowles. Yeah, it seems
whatever. Either way, but he's saying it's not just going to be Crimson Dawn, but you could get some other criminal syndicate type of people in here. So, Black Sun, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, hey, yeah. I mean, last week, Nick technically threw this out there. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, they may or may not have sources, or they may just be fucking have brains on in their brain. Well, that was fucking stupid. I clearly don't have a brain when I'm saying I have a brain in my brain. So my brain within my brain within my head tells me that there's potential for a Crimson Dawn series. So throw it out there now instead of just speculating. We should just throw it out as fact.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I called out when we were talking about what we would like to see in terms of, upcoming Star Wars projects. I specifically said I would like to see 2 series from Disney Plus, one focused on Crimson Dawn and the Shadow Syndicate, and then one focused on the Smugglers. And now that you have these 2 rumors that we're talking about right now with the Crimson Dawn series, and then the other rumor that Donald Glover is coming back for a Lando-infused Star Wars series, that's literally the 2 series that I threw out last week.
Yeah, so now we need to just start saying it's happening instead of we want it. Because, I mean, really, that's how you become a Star Wars fortune teller. You don't say anything too stupid like a Doomcock or a Mike Zero. Like, they're just fucking clickbait. They like to set shit on fire and attract the trolls that just love hating being alive. Or you could take this route and, say stuff that a lot of fans would want, and there is really fiscal sense behind it for Disney, and there is legitimate story sense for it to happen, and here we go. But I mean, I feel like we've talked about this topic a million times. I mean, yes, Crimson Dawn, Disney Plus, more Maul, more Kiara, whatever the fuck her name is, Kira. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, that's a fucking brainer. I mean, with the shit Ray Park's doing these days to get in the know and get mentioned, he's ready. He wants to come back to the role, right? So let's go.
He's ready to go. So, and then we just mentioned the Donald Glover rumor. So I have a couple questions for you, Matt. So do you think...
I'm just going to move on to the Glover stuff then. So.
Yeah. So the Glover stuff is that there will be a series out there that is going to be, Donald Glover's back as Lando. There's a new series out there that he's going to be heavily involved in. One, do you think that this is the Crimson Dawn series, that he will just be incorporated into that? If not, do you think that there is a room to have a series that has Lando in it, but not Solo and Chewie?
Ooh, why do you have to make it so hard? I do not know. I believe these are 2 separate entities.
Okay.
And I do believe, because there's some other, I think his name's like Jordan Mason.
Mm-hmm.
But But he kind of chimed in with Noah and these guys at KRT and said, hey, Donald's not the only Lando I've heard coming back.
Yeah,
as in Billy D. So when I heard that, and we saw Lando working on something in Solo, the Calrissian Chronicles, I 100% could see the Calrissian Chronicles being Lando's series, as in it starts with Billy D. Lando reminiscing about, I remember when I made the Calrissian Chronicles, it was about some of my more wild adventures, smuggling, being a pimp, this, that, and the other thing. Then we go back and we get Donald, and we actually see some of these stories that old Lando is talking about. That's kind of how I see the Lando series. Now, to follow up with is Solo in there? Like, do we trump Solo with a Lando? That's tough.
It's hard.
I think more fans took the Donald's Lando over Alden's Han. But
I mean, you could do that too. Like, because one, just in terms of like a Hollywood perspective, like, of course, Donald Glover is going to demand more attention than Alden Ehrenreich. So it makes sense. But like, you could tell the Solo story through the lens of Lando if you wanted to. It would just be weird.
Right.
Like, it would just be odd to do it
I would prefer the Lando stays Lando-centric, but we either hear of, oh man, fucking Han and Chewie are doing some shit, something like that, or Han pops up on a holo recording, but the focus is still Lando's Chronicles. I
think it would be cool.
I mean, I think Han and Chewie deserve their own, or they would be the ones mixed into the Crimson Dawn. Because the stuff they're getting mixed up in at that point in their lives would be more crime syndicate worthy. So I could see Solo and them making more sense being attached to the Crimson Dawn, whatever the hell it is at this point in time, versus Lando. Because I really think Lando could have his own series, and I would appreciate the old one reminiscing about the young one, getting both actors involved. I really think that could kind of really flesh out this character more than we've ever had him fleshed out.
It would be the perfect way to incorporate Jana back into it too. Because if we remember the end of TROS, like, those two characters essentially tell you.
And the way JJ cut that scene did make it seem creepy, but based on the leaks, she was supposed to be his daughter that was stolen by the First Order on Pisana. So
yeah, it wasn't like a weird relationship style thing. But
Nico makes a point too. I mean, we can see Lando meet Lobot. I mean, that would be a fun little episode. So
yeah, man, there's a ton of great shit that could happen within this series, and like, the way that I would see it is like, you know, it's not just like, because the way that we're kind of talking about it is like a semi How I Met Your Mother style series. Yeah. Yes. Where Lando's like, you never see the father, but his voice is Bob Saget, and he's talking to the kids the whole time, and then the whole show is basically
there you
flashbacks.
Go. So you're saying old Han is essentially recounting it to Jana.
Yeah, except there's other things happening in that area too.
Right, we get more of the old guy versus just the detached voice.
Yeah, so I would like to see, like, Jana and Lando are out doing a run, like whatever. They're smuggling, or they're doing something for the New Republic, maybe, or whatever the entity is that forms after the fall of the First Order and the the Empire. Maybe they're working within that structure, and they're just having a conversation in their ship while they're on like a delivery run, or they're doing whatever they're doing.
I got you.
And he's like, "Oh man, I can remember this time. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you about this."
So in your world of Lando, each episode, most of the time, would be dedicated to telling a story of young Lando. But
then you come back
right in the end, at the end of the season, there will have been an overarching story with old Lando that completes.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I dig that. I'm all for that. I like it.
I think that would be the best way to do it, because you're continuing threads from the end of TROS that were set up, and that would be really interesting because Lando. Man, I mean, like, Billy did such a good job in that movie for being as old as he is. Yeah. I mean, Billy's in his 80s. And the fact that he came back and he played the role
he's
of Lando
half dead. I think participating in TROS added at least 5 years of life to that man.
Oh yeah, man! Like it reinvigorated him.
It got him in the gym working out. I mean, you know how it gets just even being locked down and during all this bullshit. And sometimes shit slides a bit. Like your mind slides a bit, body could slide a bit. So I think that working on Star Wars again revitalized the old guy, and I would love to see both of them. So my take here is Lando. Definitely, as Nick said, you use both. You get a little bit of a story with the old one. You get most of the story with the young Lando throughout the episodes. And, kind of we got work more or less in here. Just he's hoping projects like this revitalize that Star Wars story brand that they were trying to do. I mean, Rogue One, great. Solo, I know a lot of people, they still kind of mix it in with the weird time at TLJ and the May release. Pretty damn good little Star Wars story.
It's an awesome movie, dude. I really like Solo.
Yeah, so I'm all about these Star Wars stories. And as we move into our next topic, I think this is where things are going to go because of this fucking virus. So our next topic here, and this one is legit, but Disney across the board is pushing back their bigger projects, their movie slate, and they've also talked about possibly scaling everything back. Maybe a project that was going to be a trilogy is now going to be a Disney Plus series because they can get it done for $100 million versus $300 million.
$400, yeah, whatever.
And then just the schedules, people working together, working remotely. So I do think there is going to be an edict, if there isn't already one at Lucasfilm, like, hey, we saw what we did. Our original plan fucking blew up in our face. We made some really poor decisions. We may or may not have caved to some of the fandom, whatever you want to say about Lucasfilm's experiment from TFA through TROS.
Yep.
It got derailed. I mean, we should be talking about a movie that's coming out next year, honestly. Honestly, we should have been talking about a movie coming out this year. There was supposed to be a 2020 film.
Yeah, that was supposed. We all assumed that the 2020 film was going to be the Kenobi movie,
right?
But that was before,
or the Boba movie. So
or the Boba.
I do hope we go more towards these Star Wars stories versus we got to make a fucking trilogy and this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. Give me a one-off movie, fine, as long as it connects into the universe. Give me a series, fine, as long as it connects into the universe. And, let's go. But Star Wars, as well as other Disney projects, so the MCU, all that shit now is being pushed back at least a year. At this point, we are not going to get a new Star Wars movie until 2022. And
2023, because it was supposed to be 2022, 24, 26.
Okay. All right. Yep. Sorry.
And then the new releases are 23, 25, 27, which also means that Avatar is pushed back. We were supposed to get Avatar next year. They're pushed back to 24.
Yeah. I mean, this shit fucked up the movie industry. I don't know if the movie industry will ever be the same. At least the theater wing at this point is probably dead as we knew it. I don't know how movie theaters, at least in this country, ever come back. I mean, they haven't been open since March.
It's sad, man, because you're seeing now you're starting to see the long-term effects of this. Like, for example, one of Taylor and I's favorite breweries just closed. They were like, we can't make it. And this place just opened up a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
We had a restaurant. It was a chain. It's a Miller's Ale House. I mean, it's good. I wouldn't say the best. It's not that eclectic. A chain. They just bought territory, plumped the store down. Within a year, because of this, it's gone. They built a brand new fucking chain restaurant. It's gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, I really hope that at a certain point, movie theaters can make it. They need to get creative, though, because right now, they're still not doing anything to stem the tide, to stem the loss of money. The only thing I've seen that is somewhat intelligent, I'm assuming it's just based on their lease and how much parking space they have, but there's a chain here called Marcus. The Marcus chain, at least one of them in Columbus, Ohio, has been on the weekends only doing drive-ins in their fucking parking lot. That's what you got to do, dude. You have to get creative like that. But it, like for these massive, national change, international chains, like they don't have the flexibility to do that.
Right.
So, I mean, you may see cascade closures of movie theaters across the entire country. I mean, we haven't heard about any closures of movie theaters near us yet. So that's good because, there's 2 Regal theaters relatively close, which is why we have their unlimited pass. But like, man, it's tough.
It sucks. I mean, we're not going to be going to movies. I don't think so. I mean, any movie that was being made or supposed to come out has essentially fucking disappeared. WB, they finally were just like, fuck it. Tenet is just gone. Like, we're not even pretending it's coming out at this point. It's just off the fucking schedule.
Yeah, that's the same thing that Disney did with Mulan, because Mulan was like, that was supposed to come out
Black
right
Widow's supposed to be out by now. I mean, that was a May. Yeah. Mulan was March. I mean, it's nuts. It's like you forget that there was even movies anymore. So
yeah, dude, it's
it is what
crazy
it is.
Fucking
yeah,
time.
This thing fucked us up, especially over here because we pretended it wasn't real. Yes,
but I will say, like, in tandem to this, Greggy Boy, our good friend Greg Bird down under, sent us a piece, like a quick update from the Australian side of things. That kind of coincides with this, and it's that Taika has started writing his film.
Right. Yeah, I saw that popping up. Again, we love you, Greg, but it's a nothing burger story. He started writing it. Okay.
But it's just like...
A lot of sites ran with it. I'm not bitching at Greg. That to me, it does nothing for me. It's nothing we can really even talk about. Hey, he started writing a script. Okay, neat.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up here, is because, like... do you think that the only question I can come up with or talking point off of that is that, do you think that he is in this slot, this 23, 25, 27?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. You don't start writing a movie now if you're going to drop it in the 30s. So
yeah. So, I mean, if anything, we could see, a 3-year development window is what's normal for large movie projects. And that is from, development of the script to completion of the film, a 3-year.
Yeah, these days they're doing. They did Tross in less than a year. Like, I don't know what that says, because Tross turned out kind of messy, but.
Yeah, I think that, like, Phil Shostak on Twitter, if you don't follow him, Phil is a fantastic follow for anything Star Wars related. And he recently put out a tweet, probably last week or something like that, talking about the development times for each movie. And that he mentioned that, like, with TFA, it was like a 3-year development cycle. With TLJ, it was like 2 years and something, 2 years and a few months. And then he said for Tross, it was still like a 2-year development cycle,
90
but it
days.
really doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't, it couldn't have been long, but it doesn't really make sense that was a 2-year development cycle.
At this point in time, they used to need all those years just to process the damn visuals, the effects. So, if Taika's right now, he's well on pace to be the 2023 drop. Even without shooting yet. And really, these dates depend on if the world can get back to normal. This country, we're about a year behind everyone else at this point in time. So I don't see a lot of movies getting made in the States for a minute. Maybe New Zealand, maybe the island nations that didn't fuck around too much. Canada, they seem to be able to shoot a bit. The UK. We're over here trying to get sports up and running. Motherfuckers are getting it left and right. Did you see? Today, the Marlins and Yankees were supposed to play, and the Marlins had 9 people test positive since starting baseball last week.
Yeah, so they had to cancel
it. Ain't going to happen, my friends over here. We need to get a little pessimistic about this thing. I know we're a country of optimists. I'm not. I'm glass half empty all the time. It has done me justice during all this shit, because I don't have high expectations. I know we're going to be fucked up for at least another 6 to 8 months. I know there's not going to be sports. I know my Buckeye team that has a fucking national championship caliber squad is probably not going to play, and most of those players are probably going to go leave for the draft in the spring.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Get used to it, my friends in America. This thing sucks. It fucked up our country, and it's going to be fucked up for a while. Don't sit there and kid yourself and think that it's just going to get better. It's not. Embrace the pain like I do on a daily basis. All right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll be in for at least another 3 years of pain until the next Star Wars movie comes out.
Or we'll all be dead. So
yeah, who knows? We'll all be dead. So the official, the dates that were announced by Disney for Star Wars releases are December 22nd, 2023, December 19th, 2025, and then December 17th, 2027.
And you're supposed to have avatars in between those.
Yes, the avatars will be on the even years between those.
So 22, 24, 26.
24, 26, 28, because there are 4 or 5 Avatar movies now.
There's like a million. I mean, Cameron's been trying to get the Avatar sequel since 2009, dude.
Yeah, dude, so it's fucking crazy. But so a 1 year delay from what it was supposed to be. And maybe Taika's in that slot. Maybe Taika's the 2023 and he's already prepping and getting ready. Yeah. And I will say that, like you mentioned, if we are to a point to where, filming is ready to start and there's still some hesitancy here in America. I mean, he lives in New Zealand and New Zealand is free and clear. So maybe they just ship all the fucking actors out to
basically anyone that comes from America, the mandatory quarantine wherever you go, because you can't trust what state or city you pass through if you didn't catch it. I mean, I would still say these I would say are tentative dates. They really are. Like, sure. I mean, shit is fucked up. So let's see what happens. All right, so before we get into the fan segment, we're going to get into this meme here. And anyone that has saw it, or the fandos that were in the chat, they were all over the hashtag Ray Park. But Ray Park started trending this weekend, to him, probably for all the wrong reasons. And as Nick said, a lot of people were like, oh, shit, what the fuck? Is this Crimson Dawn thing legit? What's going on with Ray? And lo and behold, when they open up Ray's Instagram, I think this was it Saturday night?
Yeah, he took it down pretty quick.
Yeah, but basically, if you're on the live stream, you see this meme. It's a shot of Hera just looking shocked, and the meme says, "Me when I opened Insta and saw Ray Park's recent post." Essentially, what happened? Say whatever you want. Was he hacked? Was he getting revenge on someone? Did he fat finger and fucking post something that he didn't mean to post? But for about 25, 30 minutes on Saturday night, Ray Park had an image of himself getting blown on his Instagram page. I would assume it was his dick. I mean, it was a decent looking meat, so I wouldn't be too embarrassed about that. But really, the whole hubbub was, why is Ray Park trending? Oh, that's why Ray Park is trending, to what the fuck's up with Ray Park? All right, so what do you think it was? You think it was an honest mistake, like he just fucked up and hit that plus button when he didn't mean to? He had that shot lined up, or was he hacked? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think it was a hack. I think it was like he did not mean to post that.
Right.
Like,
I do too.
Like he was trying to post something else, and that might have been like the first thing in his camera roll or whatever.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think that he was hacked, because if he was hacked,
apparently it's a video, like so he was getting straight slobbed, like in moving. It wasn't just words and shit.
Okay,
but either way, I'm with you. If you're gonna hack a celebrity's account,
but then also when the hack happens, they're pretty quick to come out and say like, oh no, like I got hacked, like you know, like anything that you see here. Like,
and typically, if you get your account hacked, you don't have control of it. So how did the image the video get deleted 30 minutes after the fact?
Exactly. And then also, it's just because your Instagram account is hacked, I mean, they would have to hack his Instagram account and his phone to be able to get that video to post it.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's not like they could
assuming that is his penis being polished, right? I mean,
yes, true.
They could have just kind of gotten there and posted. But again, typically, if you are hacking anything, I mean, look what happened a week or two ago when huge blue checkmark Twitter accounts got smoked, like Elon, Biden, like big ones. What did they do? They asked for fucking Bitcoin. Hackers aren't going on there just to fucking embarrass people. They're going on there to trick dummies to give them fucking money, or to ransom Ray's account. Like, hey, give us money. So I don't know. I think Rey was just
they're drunk, might have been high.
Right. There's others who are saying maybe he's trying to get back at his wife. Apparently, she might have cheated on him at one point in time. I don't want to kind of delve into that shit. That's all assumptions and allegations. Who knows? All we do know is that Ray Park, for a limited amount of time this past Saturday night, shared an interesting video, allegedly, of his penis getting into a lightsaber duel with some lady's face.
Yeah, so it's gone now, but I'm sure if you scour the internet, you can at least find screenshots.
Just search Ray Park, you'll find it. Trust me, it's blurred out. I didn't even want to mess with it because this is on YouTube, and YouTube, they're fucking the police, the etiquette police, and this police can't show any nudity. So
yeah.
There you go. But, look for it if you want to.
We'll see if that has any effect on his upcoming potential casting in the Crimson Dawn series.
I doubt it. I mean, if we're really at that point in society where if like something like that happens and you lose your Star Wars roles, it's like, come on. Yeah. I mean, most people probably don't even fucking know about it because this is a Star Wars centric type of thing that happened.
Yeah, people outside of Star Wars don't even know who Ray Park is. So not a lot to follow up on there, but
it's interesting. I thank all of you for hitting us up. I mean, I believe Rust tipped us off. We had Bossajan down there in Australia tipped us off. So thank you for that. I needed
what a weird weekend.
Needed some Ray Park meat for my weekend. All right, dude, it's about time for the fan segment, and as we do these days, we don't quite get into the praising of the fan artist yet. We have the question of the week to get through, as well as the Battle of the Basics. So let me go ahead and switch up some screens here. Go ahead and get rid of our browser view. There is our Slack view. And the way I have them in, Nick, let's just go ahead and start with the Battle of the Basics update, which I think was the first one here. Chewy versus Boba Fett.
Yes, Chewy versus Boba Fett. And, Matt put this out earlier as soon as this announcement or this battle was announced that this should be a blowout. No, it was not a blowout.
Straight troll, man. That's what I get for talking shit, because I have a feeling. I have a feeling people took that to heart and actually thought that Bozo Boba could take down, the Wookiee from the West.
It is very odd. 55% to 45%, and it broke down where it was 55 votes to 4 or 54 votes to 45 votes of 99 people voted. More voters. I'm going to say this again. We need more voters. I think the next one had a little bit more, but still. Notable. Let's go to notable Boba voters first, because there were a lot of them. There were a lot of Boba voters out here. I mean, you have Stormtrooper Pete. You have Barron's Black Series, Klondike Studios, all of the boys in the chat. Oh yeah,
any Fando asshole is a straight troll. So Barron, that's a troll. Klondike's a troll.
We have a new account here. This is Star Wars Black Series 2020. Is this
another burner of Greg's now? He's up to like 5 or 6 burner counts.
It's actually posting toy pics. So maybe it's just an actual account called Star Wars Black Series 2020. Then you had Star Wars Toys 73. You have fucking Greg has 4 accounts now because he has made a clone of my account. That period, Nick period, C period.
He did?
He did. Greg is now just making fucking knockoffs.
What do people do in Australia?
4 votes. I may start. Can I remove votes? Can I block these things from our IG account?
Greg's got way too much free time down there. Like, what the hell is he up to?
Apollo Ape voted for Boba.
Speaking of Greg, that motherfucker, I featured one of his shots, and he was bitching about it. He's like, oh, that's a nice old shot. I'm like, hey, cocksucker. Have you not heard about my system? I mean, some are going to get shared a few hours after you post them, but a lot of times they go into the feature folder, and it just comes time to when they get dropped.
Greg feels entitled to things now. He should be on the show or get top 5s all the time. the more that you feel entitled,
you're permanently featured. You've gone to the back of the line in top 5.
You're at the back of the folder now, bud. You can't. This isn't the Greg time show.
Time out, Greggy boy, old twinkle tits.
He's getting a little big in his britches there. So, Dad Fett, Miss Kiki Gem, Swit Picks, Rust Belt Collector. Wow. Like all of these are Boba Fett voters.
A lot of people are drinking the Boba Fett Kool-Aid. I don't know, man. I guess it's from outdated comic books or something, or legend stories at this point. But to me, Boba Fett is still that idiot that literally makes and crashes into a sail barge and dies.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they got. I mean, like notable. Like the funny thing is like notable Chewy voters. There's really not a lot, man. Like I'm scrolling down here.
Of course, I told you. I mean, dude, anyone that listens to the show was gonna troll me on this one. So there's probably no one that voted Chewy. Tones,
Cryo.
There you go.
Action figure snap.
There we go.
We have Wild Wing, Tones,
these guys are. There
Prime,
you go.
Intergalactic Raptor.
These guys aren't drinking antifreeze.
Nico Tronus. So what's also funny is we have 2 blue check marks that voted for Chewy, but I don't even know how they saw the story.
Hey, fucking it's like, we got blue check marks that like us. We are on our way.
it's two like musician, like rappers. I don't know.
Hold on. Rust Belt has an update here from the live chat. In his head canon was that Boba Fett would win by flying into Chewie accidentally and blowing up, thus giving him a win.
But would that just be a draw though if they both died? I don't know how that would work. There's no draw option.
That was a good one, Rust. I do like that. That would work. So that works in my head canon too. But only if someone tripped Boba Fett's jetpack on again. Like he couldn't have actually turned it on himself. It still had to be an accident into another accident, because that's how Boba Fett rolls. So I do like that. Oh well, hey, Chewie made it out, so he's going on to round 3, right?
Yes, he's going on to round 3. He's going on to the semifinals, which is interesting because this next matchup will decide who he's fighting in the semifinals. And this matchup is Django Fett versus Han Solo. And Han Solo won this matchup 59% to 41.
So Han's going to have to shoot his best friend. They're going to have to
Han versus Chewie in the first semifinal.
I like that. That's a Sophie's Choice type of matchup you have there for round 3.
I feel like Han wins it off of popularity, but man, I really feel like based off of that fight that we saw in Solo in the mud pit, Chewie would kick the shit out of him.
Of course. I mean, if it was a duel, Han might have the edge because Han always shoots first. If we want to apply Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes logic, Raid Han, which in my opinion is the most powerful version of Han.
Yeah.
He's got a big dick blaster, man. Like that fucking blaster, and sometimes he'll shoot 3 times in a row. He's like, pa-choo, pa-choo, pa-choo. I mean, he can fucking level fully shielded and full health tunes in that game.
And then like, in Swago terms, he gets the first shot, so he stuns right off the bat.
Yes.
But actually, no, he doesn't, because if you have Chewie Zeta'd, he can't be stunned. He's like immune to crowd control.
No, they're fun. I feel bad. I need to relic my CLS crew, because it's, I mean, come on. It's Commander Luke, it's Chewbacca, it's Raid Han, which is essentially a New Hope Vest Han. Yeah, I mean, dude, if Han gets that, like I said, that big dick blaster off first and hits the big guy,
it's tough for him.
There's a chance, but I mean, if Chewie gets in close, it's fucking see you later, arms and head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just done. So the Django versus Han matchup went like this: 41% for Django, 59% for Han, 70 votes for Han, 49 for Django. So almost 120 voters here. So we had an uptick in the number of votes. Han voters, we got some good ones right up front. We got Figure Hertz. We have, let's see here, Intergalactic Raptor. Excellent. We have Swit Picks, Drew Toys. We have Klondike, Star Wars Toy 73. I mean, we got some of the notable ones: Action Figure Noob, Cryo, Liam, Matt Jessup, Nico, Tones. and then Adrian.
Got you.
A Sith Lord of Lego. So a Sith Lord of Lego, that's still his name, but I thought he might have changed his Tong. No,
Lego Star Wars Tong is now Tong Wars. We checked in with him today, did a little feature. He dropped a great looking Lego sandcrawler shot with his usual excellent natural lighting. So
here's this is peak Papa. Papa is a Django voter. Yeah, it's peak Papa. I love it, man.
Oh, speaking of Papa, I checked in with him too. The guy almost fucking killed himself with chlorine.
Oh my God! What happened?
He must have a pool, and he was doing pool maintenance. And it's been hot here in the States.
Dude, if that shit goes gaseous,
that's what happened. So he opened the top, and he said he essentially just took in a full lung's worth of chlorine.
Oh my God!
It was so bad that like his lungs instantly filled up with fluid, and he was fucked up for a couple weeks now. So he's just now slowly getting back and posting some stuff out there. So
yeah, so
I don't think he hated us. He just almost took himself out. So
yeah, he just almost killed himself.
Fucking chlorine death.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, yep. So he's alive and doing well. So that's good.
Hope everything is good. So Agosto, Django voter, Rust Belt collector, Django voter.
All right.
Of course, Greg and his army of alts.
See, I feel like the Han and Django should have been close, like the Boba Chewy one.
Yeah, 59-41, still kind of close.
It's not bad.
Sir Dork, it was not a surprise to me that Sir Dork voted for Django because I know he's a big prequel guy.
Well, Django has a jetpack. He has fucking fire and fuel, and it explodes stuff. So that's why Sir Dork did.
And then there's a lot of good Beer Man, 97 parsecs. Barons, Black Series, Wild Wing, Miss Geeky Gem. I mean, you had a lot of notable Django votes. So it's a very close. It was, 59-41, still pretty close, but Han makes it out. And so that bring, like I said, Chewie versus Han in semifinals of this bracket.
I like that. I do like that. So if you're new listening to this, we are in our fan segment. And if you like hearing yourself being talked about on shitty Star Wars podcasts, then by all means, get involved. Look for us on Instagram at Star Wars Time Show. Look for these polls in our story. And what we're going to get into now, the question of the week, that's typically just going to be right on our page. And you can leave a comment or comment on the story. So moving on to the question of the week, Nick, this week's question, I have it pulled up here. Let's talk ships. Yes. What's your favorite Star Wars ship? What makes you love it? And our first reply was from our buddy down south, not Twinkle Tits, but Bossajan. He went with Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator, which I just watched last night in TPM. It is a sexy looking ship. It's menacing, it's sleek, it's compact. It's designed to be totally self-dependent, allowing Maul to peruse any enemy of the Sith.
Yeah, peruse, either one
makes sense.
But no, dude, I like that ship. I like the design of it. I like the it kind of looks like Padme's ship, except a little bit different. I like the wings.
The ass end is a direct predecessor for like a TIE fighter. It's got like the TIE fighter ball body and then those somewhat bent wings. So that's a good call. I like the ship. I like the way it sounds. I like the music they play when he gets out like that. And then like all these little things go out, and you got Skeleton Astronaut Boy. I love TPM, even though young Anakin really is just fucking terrible, but it's
he's
still
a
fun.
Child.
I know that's what I mean. All right, so thank you there, Bossajan. A new one here, Philip 33L. Ooh, more Nebulon C frigate.
The Nebulon class frigate.
That's the big Rebellion era, like skinny neck type of ship, right? Yeah.
It's kind of got like, now I got to look up the C class because I don't remember. Yes, so it's
the one at the end of Empire where Luke's fucking on it and he's looking out and they're like, oh yeah, they're flying.
Yeah. It's got like, it's like kind of like skinny up top and then it extends down almost like a skyscraper in terms of the height.
Right.
And then you have multiple bays where like ships can attach to it and stuff. So you've definitely seen them within the battles in the original trilogy. There were a lot of the Nebulon class frigates that showed up to the battles around the Death Star and stuff like that.
You can't argue with a big ass ship.
I know. So I like it. I like that too. I like that. That's like a pretty deep cut from Philip 331 here. So that's a good call out. I like that one. And then he also says the X-Wing. Of course, everybody likes the X-Wing.
Darth Rosen wants Kylo Ren's TIE silencer from TLJ. I mean, say what you want about the movie, but I do think he had some pretty badass looking ship designs.
Yeah, dude. The TIE silencer and then his rebuilt silencer from Tross. Yeah, I like both of those. Like those were
kind of scissor point wings with that not quite circular cockpit.
Yeah, dude. I'm a big fan.
It's a good looking fighter,
silencer.
like a good fighter ship for sure. I mean, I love anything Empire First Order aesthetic anyways, so. Scissor Me Xerxes got a good one here. I'll have to go with the Fire Spray 31 Class Patrol and Attack Ship, better known as the Slave One. I just love the detail. Yeah. I have no idea how you climb into the cockpit when it's parked on its back and it looks super impractical, but it's packed to the gills with firepower and the engine sounds cool. I agree. Yep. It's like blah, 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 blah. Like a vintage sports car, it wouldn't be the best daily driver, but it would be fun. I thought that was a very well-rounded answer from Scissor Me Xerxes there.
I like that. Yeah, I like that answer as well. And it's just like the fun thing about Star Wars is that so many of the ships, like all of the ships are unique looking.
Yeah, and they're essentially characters themselves, especially the name ships like Slave One and Red 5, the Falcon. Yeah. I mean, yes, they are characters.
And if you look at, Star Trek, for example, like all of the USS ships, like all of the Starfleet ships look the same. So you have this kind of homogenous, like,
they all have that saucer and then some other form of their engine build, but they do definitely, for the most part, have that saucer look.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just cool to see, and it might just be because of the way that the rebellion was this kind of piecemealed army where everybody's coming in and bringing their own equipment with them, is why it looks like that. But I like how it's not like, okay, well, you have your X-Wings, which are your like prototypical rebel ships, but then you have so many different ones. B-Wings are different looking, Y-Wings are different looking, A-Wings are different.
I mean, they're all over the place. It is. I've always loved what Star Wars did with their fleets. I mean, such variety, especially on the rebellion side. So, good one there from Scissor. Up next, JDR 1205. Those ARC 170 starfighters look mean AF. I'll take one of those. I know it's prequel bullshit, but they look fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, you get to see some good ARC 170s.
You gotta remember, George, to a fault, basically had to give us threads.
Everything
that existed in the original trilogy was linked to something in the past. So these were the forefathers of the X-Wings.
Exactly. I mean, it was basically the same thing, except the X-Wings, you had fully separated wings that would go like that, and then the ARC 170s, you had one wing piece that it was
like a little spoiler would pop up on each side. But it was a cool looking starfighter. Again, I mean, I did.
No, I mean, I like it, and ARC 170 is definitely a useful fighter within your Galaxy of Heroes squadron as well.
All right, Cryo up next. OG Red 5 X-Wing. So he's talking about Luke's specific ship. It's got the collapsible wings, 4 guns, 2 proton torpedoes, can survive being submerged for decades. That is a selling point you won't get at most used X-Wing lots.
It's true.
Light speed capable small starfighter. Those red and yellow accents made one slick looking ride. So yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, dude.
I know me as a little boy always, I wanted to fly an X-Wing. That is the one ship that I preferred with the Rebels over the Empire. I thought the X-Wings were so much cooler than your basic square wing TIE fighter.
Yeah, man, it's just like the X-Wing had everything over the TIE fighters. Like Cryo mentioned here, it had light speed capability. It also had shields. TIE fighters did not have shields. They were maneuverable. They had better firepower. I mean, like that ship, the X-Wing alone is almost the one reason that the the tide was not necessarily turning, but like they could fight with the Empire in the sky is because of the X-Wing.
Yeah, it was a way better fighter in terms of just providing support for the bigger rebellion ships, but also going in and causing havoc. Because, I mean, what did the rebels say planning on Yavin? Like, listen, we're only going to send our X-Wing because the guns on the Death Star are too fucking big to even consider hitting our dogfighters.
Yeah. And like, this is the reason too, like the reason that Thrawn comes up with the TIE Defender project is because he sees like these X-Wings are destroying us in dogfights. Like they have shields, they can take more damage, they can do quick runs and then jump out into hyperspace and not have to worry about a large craft to take them away. So like we need something like that. And that caused Thrawn to build these TIE Defenders that would have become the force of the Imperial Navy if they would have been fully funded instead of the Death Star. I'm like Cryo
though. I think the most impressive thing about the Red 5 is that motherfucker could be crashed underwater forever,
multiple times,
and the shit would turn over right away. Like there's no pumping out the engine. I mean, you just pull it right out of water and it starts right the fuck up,
and then it goes. Yeah, I mean, twice. Luke,
it's like a Honda. You know, if you treat a Honda right, you can get 300, 350, 400,000 miles out of those motherfucking things. I don't know if you could park one in the lake for 40 years and then it would start right up, but that is a very good point that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to the X-Wing. Its ability to be submerged and still fire up and get you to where you need to go.
Yes.
Good one there.
It's all around top level.
Good one there. I do like a little smart assness in our answers for sure. From the Outer Rim, look at this. I believe they got chosen for top 5, but Classic Star Destroyer all the way 100. And
I mean, Classic Star Destroyer is like, when you see that, like you can never forget the first time that you see the opening of A New Hope.
I mean, it was so impactful that Spaceballs lampoons the fact that it looks so big, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the whole opening of Spaceballs is like 45 seconds of just watching the ship go by.
I mean, it's just also like that, and then the evolution on it. I mean, like you can see like you said, going back into the prequels, now you still have, you have the Galactic Republic cruisers that eventually become the Star Destroyers. So you see its predecessor there.
Right.
But like the power of Star Destroyers is even seen within just, the Age of Resistance era when you have the massive Sith fleet come out.
Yeah, I mean, they're essentially mobile Death Stars at that point. Much smaller, but I mean, you still got that iconic pizza wedge look. And you have a Death Star turret mounted underneath it. So I mean, the Star Destroyers are just so menacing, and they look like floating cities. You got to love the Super Star Destroyer, right? The one that crashes nose first into the Death Star 2. I believe that was Vader's at one point in time. So yeah, I mean, you could line up 100 sci-fi spaceships, and I think every human would be able to pick out a Star Destroyer. Yeah, very iconic looking.
So I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Star Destroyers as well. So good call out there. And then next up we have Matt Jessup, and he's talking, or his pick is the Naboo Starfighter. He says, obviously the OG stuff is grand, but for me, I'd pick the Naboo Starfighter. Simple but elegant, in my opinion. Dig that the pilots wear soft leather style helmets, a bit of a nod to World War II era aces.
Yeah, pilot Rick Ale. Again, I just watched it last night, so I've got TPM on the brain. But I think Matt nails it. It is that kind of old school throwback look. I love the chrome. You gotta if it's a Naboo ship, it's gotta have some chrome.
Some chrome on it, chrome and yellow.
I like the sound of its engines. I like where the droid pit's at. It is just a cool looking ship. I like the sound of its guns. I mean, that's kind of fucking weird, but they are cool little fighters. And little in particular. I mean, they did seem very tiny. I mean, you're getting your little cockpit in there in a droid, and that's about all you had, because really the N1 Starfighter, like its tail was literally just a point. So most of the ship was contained in the cockpit and its 2 engines on the wings. So
it tapered off hard towards the end, which I mean, it makes it look cool when you have those sharp edges coming off the end of that ship. It is probably one of the coolest, least used ships from that era. Right. I wish we would have seen more of the Naboo starfighters later on.
It is like Matt said. I mean, it is like a perfect dogfighter ship. I mean, it's like this is what you would have sent up in World War II, World War I, whatever. I mean, World War I, they're literally in fucking biplanes, like throwing bombs at each other.
Yeah, dude, it was nuts.
Shooting their own fucking tails off and stuff. Oh my God, those people are fucking nuts. But yeah, it is a sexy looking ship, that N1. The Bean 2, I'm going to assume this includes big boys. So the Venator class Star Destroyer, it's from the year I was born and grew up with it with the Clone Wars. So, yeah, we kind of already talked about that. That was the
Venator class is like the OG Galactic Republic Jedi cruiser. Right. And then they just literally painted them all gray for the Empire.
For the most part. They had Cal Kestis cut him up on the planet, and then he got pissed and became a Jedi. So there's that too. Lights, Camera, Tentacles. We talked about one of his shots last week, and he actually gave us another great. He calls him BB Hate. That's the name of his custom BB-8 K2 mashup. But nice. He goes B-wing, pretty unique shape and design. Love that the ship spins around the cockpit. Wing in, wings out. Weird supercharged ion cannon capabilities, just brilliant. So it is. It's as Nick said when we were talking about all the letter ships. It's. I don't know how it gets the B-wing designation, but it is just I should know this because I believe it is discussed in the animated series in one of them.
I'm not sure. I forget
how. Like we meet the inventor of the B-wing in one of the fucking animated series. It's either it could be a Lego one at that. I can't remember, but
Quarry is the designer.
So it's from the fucking Freemaker Adventures then. So I'm not that crazy.
He's a Mon Calamari.
Yep.
So I mean, B-wing out of all the ships, out of all the fighters for sure, is definitely the most unique because Lights, Cameras, Tentacles was saying is like the way that it functions. It's like it's spin like the wings spin around it like this, and like the way the guns are positioned and everything like that. I mean, like it's a really creative and cool design that's unlike any other starfighter you've seen because most of them do look relatively like craft like a ship. This looks completely different than any other ship, and it also makes it harder to target because it's such a thin piece of ship to shoot at. It's pretty cool. So I'm a big fan of the B-wing as well. So good call out here from Lights, Camera,
their work more or less is cleaning it up. B-wing equals blade. It was in Rebels, the blade wing. All right.
Okay, there we go.
But I'm still going with the little Lego guys that invented it. That's for damn Skippy. All right, so that kind of wraps up the question of the week. Good responses.
Did you have any that you would have put in there that weren't included?
Not really. I mean, I didn't want to go with Falcon. That's an easy one. Obviously, it's badass. No, I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, the fandos covered most of the ones that would have came to my mind. I will say a recent one, just because of like how dirty looking it is. I do like the Knights of Ren ship because it reminds me of like a busted down like street bike almost, or like a hot rod car. It even expelled black smoke into space. I don't even know if that's real. But yeah, I'd probably go that one, just random.
Yeah, I like that one too. That's a really cool ship. But yeah, I mean, I think they covered everything for me. I mean, I think that Lando's Falcon, dude, is just
it's slick. Yeah, that thing looks slick as fuck, but Han fucked it up pretty bad, so it didn't last too long. I mean, dude, Han ejected a whole compartment. He fucking crashed. The entire top of the ship was essentially broken apart and destroyed, and essentially skid land crashed on the bottom. So Lando probably had to dump in many credits before Han stole it back from him at the end of the film. But
oh yeah,
good stuff there. Yeah, you always got to love some Star Wars ships. So thanks to the fans for getting involved. And if you want to get involved, make sure to keep your eye on our Instagram account at Star Wars Time Show. Nick typically drops a question a week, late Sunday, Monday, to get some responses. All right, so we are rounding towards the home plate section of our fan segment, and that is the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. And this is a top 1 week, so we're actually going to look at 6 images. You're not going to have to hear me bitch and moan about my shitty art. So let me go ahead and get the screen switched out here. Bing, bang, boom. We're up and running. All right, buddy, kick it off.
Yes, this week for the top 5, we have some heavy hitters, some normals within the top 5, I guess you would say, and then we also have some new accounts in there too. So it was a good mix of both. Matt gave a tease at one of the potential artists for the top 5, or one of the top 5 artists from the question of the week. So to kick off this week is our good buddy who had a very close brush with death. Apparently,
yes.
This is Papa Palpatine coming up with the fucking scene, like the beautiful scene recreation.
This is all practical, by the way. This is all practical.
So this is all wow.
Yeah, it's in Papa's ditch, like his backyard ditch dio. The backdrop there is a white blanket. He actually has one of those blasters. I don't know where the fuck he gets that thing. He probably made it. He actually dug out the ditch and he bought every one of these figures. This isn't even compositing. I mean, these are literally, he bought this many Hoth Rebel troopers, which is a fantastic figure because it has 2 faces. It's got the bandanas, got the goggles. So, I mean, you can, with 2 figures, you can make it look like you've got a whole army here. But
6 to 8 people. So, I mean, it's pretty awesome. And then like, the snow, I don't know what to use for the snow, if it was just like flour or some other, or powder, like it looks really good the way that it's coating the guns, that he's got it positioned all over the figures.
Like I said, all practical. There's no digital bullshit in here at all. I mean, I'm sure he did some color corrections and this, that in post, but in terms of the scene, the snow, all that is done in the Papa Palpatine ditch.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's just fantastic, and it's such a good recreation of that moment in Empire where you're kind of looking down at
they're sitting there shitting down their legs, like
like holy they fucking see the AT-AT come up and they're like, holy fuck, we are in trouble.
Yeah, I just pulled up the shot on Instagram so you could see the BTS, just so you could see. I mean, it is fully practical. Every figure is there. The baking powder or whatever substance, flour is down, and just the white, looks like a shower curtain he was using for the backdrop. So it's always amazing how some of these scenes are created by these artists here, you know?
Yeah.
Because I sit here and bitch and moan all the time. Like I don't have that creative brain. Like I would never sit here and be like, oh yeah, I could do this in my backyard. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'd have to wait for real snow. I mean, that's how I operate, dude.
Yeah, it's like, I need snow. I can't use fucking powder.
I love it. So, yeah, fantastically composed shot there, Papa Palpatine. Quit huffing chlorine. Hopefully you're feeling better at this point in time.
Yeah, at Papa.
Come back on the show. Join us. We always have fun. You definitely get worked up, and we get worked up. So come back. Come back.
We got to get Papa on for an interview. We got to get the interview series back up. So Papa Palpatine Photography on Instagram. Go find him. He's well worth the follow. Next up is a guy in the chat, a good friend of the show. This is at
this motherfucker, Work More or Less. He's in the chat. He just said, finally, the toy photo features are the only reason I watch Star Wars Time Show.
there we go. Nobody appreciates anything except
we know Jason, and we know you're not kidding. It's okay.
But this shot, Jason's really good. Jason, Jax, like all of these guys are really good at coming up with fun scenes that aren't necessarily scene recreations, anything like that. So what we have here is a stormtrooper right next, like in an arcade that is on the Death Star, you can see, or some sort of like Star Destroyer. And he's playing Time Crisis, the arcade box machine, Time Crisis 2. And he's got the gun and he's like pointing it at his own face. He's like, man, why can't I hit anything?
Exactly. He's like, is this thing fucking working? I mean, it's kind of like the scene in Mando at the end where they're shooting a cannon. They literally look at their guns like it's the fucking guns problem and not their shitty aim. So that's what Jason has expertly kind of portrayed here. And Nick, I'll tell you, Jason didn't make these arcades, but those are real. Like someone actually printed that shit out. Like that Time Crisis piece is an actual prop. That is there. The screen is in place. The guns are in place. The pedals are in place. Someone made that prop at 1/12 scale. And if we go look at Work More or Less's profile, I believe we'll figure out who that someone is. It is at Prime to the First.
Yes.
So this guy, Josh, I guess he kind of makes 112 props on the side, specifically these arcade cabinets. So he made a Time Crisis 2 one for Jason. And of course, Jason shot it beautifully.
Yeah. We also see in the background, you have an Asteroids machine and you have a Street Fighter machine up in the foreground.
Look, if you go through the BTS, you can see Jason's little fingers holding the gun just to get a sense of how tiny this little cabinet was.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it now. So that's Marvel versus Capcom machine, not Street Fighter. So
well,
I mean, dude, this
one,
insane.
like Jason really does have a full-on 112 arcade in his setup. Like if you scroll through the shot on his profile, you can see all this shit.
Yeah, you see all of them in there. It's fucking awesome, dude. I love that. I love that.
So cool,
I mean,
dude.
like, think about it. You're a fucking stormtrooper. You're in, you're either working on the Death Star or you're sitting in one of these Star Destroyers. You gotta have downtime. Like, there's not something for you to do all of the time. So an arcade makes sense.
Holy shit!
These guys,
there he is, the chlorine guy. Papa just popped in.
Papa's back.
Darth Vader with the two hands up. We love you, buddy. Thanks for joining in. We actually just covered your shot, but
yeah, we just talked about your shot. Sorry to hear about your troubles. I hope you're feeling better, sir.
Yes. And smoke weed, not chlorine.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, this shot, it was just so creative, man. I love the thought and the creativity in the shot, and Jason really fucking.
Well, yeah, I mean,
off.
you will get that from work more or less. I mean, literally, his job in life is to be creative for other people that can't be creative. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've told this story before, but on the show, but I was talking to Taylor and I were out. We were out with a couple of our friends. This was pre-COVID, and we were just talking we were. 3 sheets. We were pretty drunk. We had been to 3 or 4 breweries. And then at one point we started talking about toy photography. And then the other people who were there, they were like, well, what's toy photography? Like people just take pictures of toys. And I'm like, no, let me show you what people can do with toy photography. And I showed them a work more or less shot.
There you go.
And it was the one where he's got a stormtrooper and he's jumping on the beach. He's got his hands up and his legs back. And they're like, holy shit, that's a toy. I was like, yeah, this is the kind of shit that people can do with figures that are, this big and, a good camera. And they were blown away.
There you go. Work more or less. You are the poster boy for innovative toy photography for Nick when he has to explain our odd little hobby to people that don't know what the fuck we do with our little toys.
I mean, it's just a lot. I could have pulled up anybody. I mean, there's so many good, but Jason is just really good at the creative ideas and the execution.
Yeah, man. He's a fucking designer, man. Designer. He knows what's up. So great stuff there, Jason. Keep the tags coming, buddy. You can follow him at Work More or Less, but if you're listening to this show, you probably already do.
Indeed. Next up, number 3.
Another one in the peanut
5.
gallery. If you give them top 5s, they will come to the show. It's our own field of dreams, if you will.
Yeah. So this one is from at Klaatu, Klaatou on Instagram. It's just a really good scout trooper in the field shot. Yeah. And that's what really caught my eye about this one is because you always see you see scout troopers and you never really see them actually scouting or in the field downrange. Looking for.
It's just I'm interested how Klaatu got down and got this shot because that is some tall motherfucking grass. I mean that grass is so big it almost looks like corn stalks to this figure. And this is actually the second shot that Klaatu shared. He shared a shot with it's a slider shot. And he led with a different one, but scrolling through, this is the one that really kind of stood out to me because you do get those light rays kind of leaking in through the tall grass that just kind of adds to the feel that you got this scout trooper. He's out, he's making his way through this field, he's getting ready to go to the target. So it's one of those shots that just kind of tells a story without having too much action or motion with the figures going on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a really cool. Again, it's one of those in wartime shots where you have a photographer that's with a squad. They're going out to a battle and they're like, all right, well, we got to send out the scout to go, see what the field looks like, see if there's any enemies up ahead of us. And this guy's just going out. He's got his, his weapon slung over his back. It looks like he may be, I don't know if he's like got a stick he's holding in his hand, or he's just like moving down some of the brush to.
Yeah, no, he really is, and that's a very nice touch. I mean, Klaatu would have had to have taken the time to try to get that blade of grass to stick into this little plastic asshole's hands, and those are the little touches that. While you're setting it up, you're probably pissed at this figure. Like, just hold the fucking grass, or at least that's what I would be saying in my head, because I'm not stable like most of you. It's just a great little touch. Like I said, just putting that little piece of cloth on this guy really adds a ton to the Scout Trooper. Scout Troopers always look cool, but I mean, look at that. A little piece of soft goods on there just really kind of amps this guy up a bit.
Oh, yeah. Excellent weathering as well.
He's got one of the Sand Trooper kind of ghetto blasters over his shoulder.
So, I mean, all around great shot at Klaatu, Klaatou on Instagram. Well done. Well-deserved top 5. Yep. Next up is the tease from earlier. Matt mentioned.
From the Outer Rim has joined the chat. So I mean,
people are coming in right at the right time.
Yeah, we got Riley Keys is the real name here, but Riley not only got picked for the question of the week, also got grace with Nick's top 5 pick here. So
yeah, and. That
may be a first. That's like a twofer. That may be a first.
That's a double down. I'm sure that it's happened before, but it's very nice to get in both the question.
Now put us in your profile. Featured on Star Wars Time Show twice in the same show.
Yeah. So this one here, I'm not a hater of the Disney Star Wars trilogy. I do think that overall it could have been executed better. I think that the through line could have been done better, but I think that each individual movie has good moments and good things about it. And this one here is from Tross, is a scene recreation from Tross. We see Tross Palpatine coming down, like the moment where right after he life drains Rey and Kylo.
His dyad smoothie.
Yeah. So then he's got his hands open, and it's that moment where he's like, look at what you have made.
Yeah.
And I like how, Outer Rim from the Outer Rim has the hands positioned correctly. The face is like spot on perfect. I don't know if this is like a custom.
Yeah,
kind of
that's what I was going to ask. The robe, I would assume, has to be custom because there is no 1/12 scale Tross Sidious at this point in time.
Yeah, and then you can see like you have the red in it because he does have red, and then like I assume this is a digirama because you can see the Sith throne in the background. I just thought that this was a really well executed scene recreation from Tross.
For me, it's the eyes, man. I mean, it's just like what I said on Klaatu's shot. For me, there's always one little thing that is going to get my eye to stop on it. Like, yes, this is a shot that needs to be featured on at Star Wars Time Show. And this one, I don't think from Tag, they probably didn't know we existed, which most people don't. I think I found this one from Star Wars, the Black Series. That's the biggest Black Series kind of featuring account out there. But yeah, it's those eyes, man. You put like an overlay layer there and just colored them in, or maybe used a bunch of dodging, but those eyes really just make the shot pop and sell it as a great scene recreation from The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, so a big fan of this. Right, I was a big fan of that whole scene in there as well. So
we're getting a live update from the Outer Rim on the photo here. So he cut out a piece of red sock and put it around his neck and put Kylo Ren's belt around him. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I can see the belt.
And then the eyes are actual Photoshop of Palpatine's actual eyes, which is probably why they look so fantastic and movie correct. So. Yeah, great stuff there. I mean, a nice little portrait shot, great colors. The tone is right. The pose is right. I mean, it is a very Palpatine-y feeling shot.
Yeah, 100%. So at From the Outer Rim on Instagram, a small account. So let's see if we can get him some new followers there. Is that only at 281 followers now? So let's go give him some love.
Let's go. The not Star Wars Time Show army. Go!
Yeah. Go! But if you scroll down, the feed here. There's some really good shots. There's one that I really like here, this Leia Holdo shot. If you scroll a little bit down, I thought that one was really good. So go give him some follows. Go give him some likes.
Oh man, look at it. He's got an Attack of the Clones scene with Dax.
Yeah.
Or Dexter. What's his name?
Dexter.
Yeah, Dex.
From the shot. Yeah, from the restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Give him a follow. Welcome to the community. 281 followers. Definitely pump that up.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a few more over there. So the last of the top 5 before the top 1 is going to be Carso Toy Photography. At Carso Toy Photography on Instagram. And here's what I like about this. It's a Commander Pyre shot. And I love Commander Pyre because it's the fucking gold stormtrooper. It just pops so well. And then when you put it behind this beautiful, colorful bokeh that he's got in the background, it just makes the figure stand out even more. It almost looks like a Sir Dork shot because you got the explosion bokeh in the background, but you also have some water droplets there on him on the top of his helmet. It looks like.
I'm sure it was because I know Carso is a big in the community, at least for honoring people, asking for help. This, that, and the other things. Definitely has grown as a toy photographer over the years. I like it too, man. It's like the gold armor just contrasts well with the explosion bokeh in the background. It just, I don't know, it pops the right way for me. And it's a good pose. I mean, it's a good, starting of a run pose. He's holding the gun the right way. And I know if you've never done it, it might sound silly. Like, oh yeah, it's hard to pose a little plastic figure. It fucking is to make. I mean, just look at some of my work to see how hard it is to pose. That's why I mostly do portraits, because I don't want to fucking deal with it. Because half the time mine still look like fake dead little pieces of plastic. But this one here, definitely a good run pose. It elicits some life behind the golden bucket of Pyre.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, just a clean shot of Pyre too. I mean, just captures that character so well. So big fan at Carso Toy Photography on Instagram. Go give him a follow. And then now,
unfortunately for the character, though, I mean, he's never going to really get his due because he's a Resistance, Star Wars Resistance. A lot of people did not like Resistance. That's fine.
Could you imagine seeing this guy in live action in like TLJ Tross, TFA, something like that?
To me, he looks cooler than those fucking red Sith troopers.
Dude, we should have had a scene where you had Commander Pyre talking to Captain Phasma. You have the Chrome
and the Sith Trooper just to get all the fucking colors of armor in there.
Like, what was it? Major Von Reg?
Yeah, Von Reg had the red stuff. So
yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of good troopers from the Resistance cartoon series that should have made it in the live action.
No, Von Reg was legit because he was that all red TIE pilot uniform.
Yeah, he whipped. Yeah,
hey, if anything, Resistance had two cool-looking First Order people, if anything else. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. I cut Nick off. This is a Matt top 1. This is not an honorable mention. It is a top fucking 1.
It's a top 1.
All right, so take it for what it is. It's a top fucking 1. And my top 1 goes to Press Pause Photography. This is an account that I'd say over the last month, 2 months, we've really, or at least I have on the Star Wars Time Show, hashtag Star Wars Time Show Raider, have become aware of press_pause_photography_, how about that? A trailing underscore. But anyways, it's a shot. It's kind of like a fan shot, a fan want shot, and it's depicting these characters all together, and I love it. You got Rex, Captain Rex. You got Ahsoka. You got Luke. And you got R2. And then what they're looking at, Nick, is R2 is displaying a hologram of one Anakin Skywalker. And to me, it's like these guys all getting together, maybe post Return of the Jedi, kind of sitting around and talking like, let's just remember the man of Anakin and try to separate him and the good he did and the amazing shit he did from his Vader personality. Yeah. And it's like they're showing it to Luke so Luke can see his dad, and Ahsoka and Rex are sitting there telling him about his dad. And I fucking love it. I love the scene.
Yeah, man, I wish this was real because you can just hear, like, you could imagine it. You could just say, like, after, imagine after the battle, on Endor, and after all of this, like he sits down with Ahsoka and Rex, and he's just like, you guys knew my father, right?
Yeah.
Like you knew him intimately. And then I could just I know Rex would be like, oh, did we know your father? And then just like go into this long,
like, yeah, hey R2, play memory, blah blah blah, because R2 again. I mean, he is the storyteller. He's got everything logged in his brain.
Yep.
So I love this. I mean, it could even be before Return of the Jedi. It could be before Empire. This could be them just Luke like, hey, you guys were around during the Clone Wars. Did you ever hear of Anakin Skywalker, my father? And they're like, oh yeah, here, check this out. Don't tell him his dad's fucking Vader too, but we'll let him see the hero that he was. But I'm kind of taking it. This is after Vader's redemption. New Republic's around, and these three just got together. Like, hey, Luke asked him, like, Ahsoka, could you do this for me? Like, I really want to learn about my dad, like Anakin, not the bullshit. And then they kind of had to sit down, and then R2 played. It was like just watching a movie, almost like Iron Man's hologram for his daughter at the end of Endgame. Something like that. Something for Luke to have a bit of his father outside of the armor. Yeah.
It's a really well thought out scene here, a really awesome idea that, would be really cool to see actually in moving pictures.
Yeah, man, like we're talking about all these fucking 9 shows this, 9 shows that, this, Crimson Dawn, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, hello? Oh, you want to make a show with Rex and Ahsoka? Here's an episode. Here's a moment to throw in there that would fucking blow fans' minds out of their ear holes.
Yeah, do they want to commit to the animated Luke though? They would have to do that. So
yeah, I mean, live action. Just bring in Sebastian Stan. We've already made him young Mark Hamill. Fuck it. I mean,
yeah, I know. Just like you don't even need to cast. Like you already know who the casting is.
I know. It will never happen because it does involve Luke, and I think Luke's off limits for the Disney Plus type of stuff. But hey, look, the artist here actually joined the live stream, Connor Tierney. Thanks so much. He appreciates the show. He's loving it. Hopefully he'll become a fan or just as big a fan as we are of his work. So keep on using the hashtag there, everyone. That concludes the segment. If you are new, remember on Instagram, hashtag Star Wars Time Show, tag at Star Wars Time Show. Let's do it. Let's grow this motherfucker. These live streams are fun. I didn't really need to do anything today. I'm kind of having my 2-day 40th celebration. But I wanted to come here and fuck off with you idiots for a while. So what does that say? It says a lot about the Star Wars Time Show and our very, very minuscule community, but it can grow. It can get bigger. I think we might have added Connor to the mix today. You never know. We might have convinced From the Outer Rim to join in again. You never know. We'll probably have to throw him some top 5s like the rest of you slugs just to get you coming back. But that's how we roll. We get you. We understand our clientele at the Star Wars Time Show. So it's that time, right, Nick? It's the time to get down, to say goodbye, and do the dance. Shake it and shimmy and tweak those nipples. All right, so the dance, you might be asking, the new ones here who probably just turned this off after I started the dance and literally just tweaked my nipples on the camera. But the dance is just that's your time to get your happy asses over to StarWarsTime.net. That is our home base on the internet. That's where we put up our content if we get to it. And that's where most of our talking points will be listed. But more importantly, it's where you can get access to the show on all of the platforms it is now available on. So if you are new and you want to subscribe, hell, you have to subscribe, even if you don't want to. Just do it and forget about it. It won't cost you any money. It might just cost you some brain cells. So get on there, StarWarsTime.net, subscribe to podcasts. We're on all the platforms. It really doesn't matter. If you don't like the podcast stuff, we're also on YouTube. We live stream the show now. Most of the time on Tuesdays, never on time at a set time because that would make too much sense. But again, StarWarsTime.net, that is the home for all your information, everything you need, all the links, all the accounts for the Star Wars Time Show. And why? Well, there's always time for Star Wars Time, so just get with it. We're like a skin rash, but a good one. We stick on you. And we might annoy you sometimes, but you always like scratching that itch of the Star Wars Time Show. And besides, If you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you. Always.